I generally wonder what the point of this series was. I first said that it was attempting not to get sacked, and now it's more attempting not to lose my sanity managing Wycombe Wanderers. Once again, that's not really a series name that rolls off the tongue. But welcome back again. Make sure you drop a like and subscription if you're new around here. You know, all that jazz that all the YouTubers say and I never say in any of my episodes because I don't know what I'm doing. Much like my Wycombe team. In the last episode, we took on Bournemouth at home and lost by 3-1, and it was a very disappointing game for us. We had not scored for 7 games, but we finally broke that run, but then we conceded 3 against the team that were top of the league. I don't know why I'm complaining about that, but the last few games have been a bit interesting, and now we're in the January transfer window, so I can't wait to see what happens now. Not quite sure why I've said it like that, because I know what happens. It's just you don't know what happens. So following that game against Bournemouth, Chuba Akpomita gave Middlesbrough the lead with only 15 minutes left on the clock as he managed to squeeze a shot in between the post and Ryan Alsop. But then with 10 minutes left on the clock, substitute Osman Kakai came off the bench to fire in this pile driver from the edge of the box to give us a 1-1 draw and a good point. In the game following that, we took on Stoke City at home, and a mistake by Ryan Alsop gave Stoke all 3 points in the 92nd minute. And then we went away to Southampton in the FA Cup, and we went 1-0 down through Ollie McBurney's goal, and then it somehow turned around as Alex Patterson scored a deflected effort to make it 1-1. And then in the 92nd minute, Daryl Horgan played through Alex Samuel, and he fired it away to give us a 2-1 win and send us into the 4th round of the FA Cup. We beat Southampton again this season.
Во-первых, народу мало, музыка не очень.
А что за направление?
А?
Что за направление?
Направление? Какое направление?
Что за направление музыки играет там?
And then finally, we took on Reading away from home and lost by a goal to nil. Charlie Lanson was about to be substituted and then somehow scored this goal. I literally don't know what's going on. But in this episode, we take on Portsmouth once again in this episode. And I know the last game we played against them was absolute shit, so I had to play the Southampton game as well in the same episode, which we ended up winning. But in this episode, I know this is a game that we really will have to win this one. We're actually so far adrift of the other teams at the bottom of the league. Now, the social media was in a buzz because apparently the Wycombe chairman said that there was going to be no takeover whatsoever inside the club, and I still don't actually know what his name is. It's been 18 episodes. I've done 18 episodes of this series. I still don't know what the name of the chairman is. But I don't believe him at all because everyone in my life lies. No, sorry, no, I'm going on about my life story again. Now, I did mention that Rotherham had offered me a job interview. Now, Bolton have offered me a job interview. But then I went to go and see where they are in the league. I mean, they're 17th in League 2. And just look at the teams around them. That is just an absolute clusterfuck of teams. You really think I'm going to up sticks of Wycombe to join a team that are below Barrow in the league system? Chris Wilder has also been sacked from Derby. And then I actually had to check out the Sky Bet Championship sack race. I'm now second favourite to get the sack next, after Kenny Jackett, who we face in this episode. But lads, I've got the safest job in football. I kept this team up in the championship. They're going to give me a knighthood at the end of the year. If you think I'm going to hold on to the achievement that I kept Wycombe in the championship in their first time at this level, you are 100% goddamn right. I also had to check, and Gary Neville's in caretaker charge of Derby. I mean, they did see his last managerial stint, didn't they? Now, amazingly, in the 1-1 draw against Middlesbrough, I'd sent Osman Kakai on in the 74th minute because I really didn't know what I was doing. And then he went and scored the winner and then somehow managed to get player of the match. So he somehow got player of the match in the 16 minutes he was on the pitch compared to the other 19 players on the pitch who were on it for about 90 minutes. Because that really makes sense, doesn't it? The 1-0 defeat at home to Stoke also saw us go 14 games without winning since we got a 3-2 win over Blackburn in October. I'll tell you what, you go and find me another Football Manager YouTuber that shows you that sort of content and I'll show you a liar. Let's be real though, you don't come to this channel for good gameplay. You just come to this channel to feel better about yourself. And I am happy to provide that service every single time. Not sure why I've made it sound sexual as well.
Would you say it's time for everyone to panic?
Yes, I would, Ken.
So someone who's been commenting on my videos recently, who I won't name for anonymity reasons, said that I need to hire a defensive coach. So I did actually hire one, and we've hired Rob Edwards, who's a pretty decent coach. I mean, he's the only person I can afford. So, you know, we're going to have to make do with this guy. And if this doesn't improve the defense, nothing will. And I'm actually being serious. Nothing actually will improve the defense. I did get my monthly financial update from the chairman, and he said that we had 3 million in the bank. And I thought to myself, why is none of that in my transfer budget? I've got like 97k to spend. So I asked the board if they would increase the transfer budget, and they did just that and gave me over $1 million to spend.
Shake your money maker.
Although, to be honest, it doesn't matter how much money you give me because we are still not going to be signing any players because who is going to improve this side? Look, I'm willing to die on this hill that we are not going to improve this side. Following the 2-1 win against Southampton in the FA Cup, Dominic Gabe got himself injured for 4 weeks, which is great news because I'm now down down to 3 midfielders for the rest of the month. Oh, maybe, Proudy, you could sign a player because you're in the January transfer window, mate. Yeah, everyone loves backseat gaming, don't they? Alex Samuel has finally broken his duck as well and has gone 11 hours without scoring and finally managed to score against Southampton in the 92nd minute, which I may have mentioned already about 4 times. But how is it that the 3 players that I paid to put the ball in the back of the net have not scored for so long? Joe Jacobson has also decided to hand in a transfer request because he wants a new challenge. Clearly bottling it because he doesn't want to get into another relegation battle again. He wants to taste the easy life. Martin O'Neill's been in the press again and decided to praise Daryl Horgan, who is one of his fellow countrymen, and also said that he's in form at the moment. Although looking at his stats, you really have to wonder, Martin, is everything alright at home? He's got 3 assists this season, and 2 of them came in the last game against Southampton, so clearly before that, he's got 1 goal and 1 assist. Yeah, he's really in form, isn't he? I went to go and hire another coach, and I wanted to bring in Paul Scholes because apparently once he hit a tree in training, according to Cristiano Ronaldo, and that was the basis of why I tried to hire him. And the board blocked it because apparently he got too many coaches at the club. I mean, we can clearly see what part of the club actually wants this team to stay up, and what part of the club actually wants to send them down. We also got round to FA Cup 4th round draw day, and we were drawn against Wolverhampton Wanderers away from home. I mean, that's a pretty good game, to be fair. But we now move into our game against Portsmouth away from home, and I've decided to keep the same team I've been playing in recent weeks despite our sort of ineffective results at the moment. Ryan Allsop keeps his place in goal in recent episodes. He's not been brilliant for me, but he's the best goalkeeper I have, so like, literally that's the only reason. We decided to go with Trevor Clark at left back because he seems to be playing pretty decently on that side, with Tafazoli and Anthony Stewart playing as our centre backs and Osman Kakai are returning at right back. Josh Knight will play as the defensive midfielder with Lewis Ferguson and George Moncur playing as the 2 midfielders ahead of him, and we decided to swap around Daryl Horgan and David Wheeler, as David Wheeler will now play on the left wing and Daryl Horgan on the right, with Alex Samuel leading the line after his goal against Southampton. Honestly, I think we should make the bloke a national hero. Now, as I have mentioned earlier this episode, we did play Portsmouth at home and we drew 0-0. It was one of the worst games I've ever had to manage in. Like, generally, I would take the 6-1 defeat over Barnsley than playing Portsmouth again and drawing 0-0 where there's 2 highlights all match. But I think I picked a squad which is actually capable of winning for once. Like, we haven't done that for quite a while in the league. In the changing room pre-match, I decided to tell the team that we need to show the world what it takes. Like, we need to actually start playing like an actual football team for once. Although, to be fair, it's a difficult game today. Football. And my team took my pre-match team talk into effect because then we conceded a foul after 10 seconds. I mean, you got to let them know you're there early. Portsmouth were the first ones to get a highlight in the match, and Migliori managed to get down the left-hand side and put a deflected ball into the box, which Nick Powell headed over the bar. And I've used Nick Powell before, and him playing up front does not work. Played it across the box for Nick Powell to score. How have you not scored? Our first highlight of the game was a corner on the right-hand side, and Daryl Horgan's cross was headed out, and they got on the counter-attack. Yeah, that was our first highlight. And from that resulting counter-attack, Marcus Harness managed to get down the right-hand side and put a ball into the box again, which Barre headed at our goalkeeper, Ryan Allsop. So that failed corner triggered me into changing the set-piece delivery, so I told Ryan Tafazoli to attack the near post and then got one of our defensive midfielders to mark the goalkeeper. But Portsmouth were to get the next corner, and Barre's corner found Mark Roberts in the centre of the box, and he headed it over the bar. I mean, we're getting away with that, really. They really should have scored by now. But we did get a corner on the stroke of half-time, and it was time to put our plan into effect, which it did as Daryl Horgan's cross found Ryan Tafazoli at the front post, and he headed it into the back of the net. As if that has worked.
Sometimes my genius is... it's almost frightening.
I actually cannot believe something that I've done in the game has actually resulted in a goal. It's almost like being a football manager. Yeah, it's almost as if, Proudy, if you actually take this game seriously, you actually get the results. Sorry, by the way, I do take this game seriously, I'm just not very good. That is the difference. In the second half, Lewis Ferguson only lasted 3 minutes as he managed to pick up an injury, which meant I had to send on Alex Patterson in replacement of him. And we were sitting back a little bit more than I expected us to, and Marcus Harness got another ball into the box, which found Nick Powell, and he headed it straight to goalkeeper. Lads, Nick Powell cannot head the ball. Stop trying to cross it to him. As Marcus Harness was getting a lot of joy down that right-hand side, I decided to swap the left back and brought a Nico Hammerline on for Trevor Clark. I decided if one corner tactic can work, let's try another one, and I decided to get Ryan Tafazoli to start attacking the back post rather than the near post. But then Portsmouth had a free kick, and Barre's cross found Nick Powell, who headed it on, and Luca Collier then fired it into the back of the net. I think looking back on it now, I probably should have worked on defending free kicks rather than attacking corners. And then a couple of minutes later, Nico Williams got down the right-hand side, put the ball across the box, and Michael Jacobs made it 2-1. Great, what a turnaround. What a turnaround this has been. We've done nothing the second half. But deep into injury time, George Moncur found Liam Cullen in the box and he cut inside and then fired it over the bar. Brilliant signing, Proudy. Brilliant signing. And that brought an end to the game and we'd lost to Portsmouth. Fantastic. Like, we're relegated. Honestly, we're just relegated. I mean, even the fans know it by now. Like, they know we're relegated. It's only January. Oh, great. And to make matters worse, we're now bottom of the league as well. Fantastic. I mean, Luton were on 8 points for the majority of the season and now they're above us. Fucking hell.